The Peace Council is speaking about the voter registration violence and is saying that um, at this stage, if we're having this kind of violence happening, taking place just at the voter registration, it doesn't bode well for the main elections in December. Let me get into that story. It's on citinewsroom.com. The National Peace Council has stressed the need to contain the pockets of violence observed at certain centers during the ongoing limited voter registration exercise. They emphasized that failure to address these incidents could lead to a spillover effect, potentially impacting the integrity of the upcoming December 7 elections. Now, in an interview with Citi TV, Citi News, George Amon, the executive secretary of the Peace Council, said, "For us," and I quote, "at the Peace Council, whenever an issue like this comes up, like the one that happened, unfortunately, at some parts of the Ashanti region, are early warning signs. You don't downgrade them. You have to carefully assess the potential they have to affect the elections in December. There are signs that we have to set up, but they are not signs to discourage us," he stated. Mr. Amo also urged the Electoral Commission to maximize the opportunities available to ensure that more people who qualified get their names registered. This comes after the Electoral Commission said that the violence that has characterized the limited voter registration justifies its call for using the Ghana card as a sole document for registration. Now, according to the Commission, it has observed violence at some centers linked to the challenge of the age and citizenship of some registrants. However, the Commission believes such incidents would have been avoided if the Ghana card was used as a sole document for the registration. The Executive Secretary of the Council, George Amos, speaking to Citi News, stressed the importance of utilizing existing opportunities to include as many eligible voters as possible who are not yet registered. And I quote, "What we should be concerned about is how we can allow for spillover or not spread in order that we cannot contain it. So I would like to encourage the Electoral Commission to continue with the processes that it has laid down for all these years to ensure that they get the right people, I mean those who are supposed to be on the register. None should be disenfranchised because of somebody's issue. So, I quote, we must maximize the opportunities we have to get as many people who are yet to be on the register to be on the register. I think that should be the approach of the EC," he stated. Right, that's the full account on citinewsroom.com. George, your thoughts on, number one, what the Peace Council says in terms of the potential violence that could repeat itself at the general election, and then also the commentary about, looking at the Ghana card being the sole, use for identification for voter registration, and the lack of use of that being a cause of the violence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, before I proceed, let me say happy birthday to my son,
Okay.
Alvin Kobe Aisi. Happy birthday. May the grace of the Lord be upon you, and may you grow to be a pillar in the Lord's vineyard.
Wow.
And impact your generation.
Great one. Happy birthday.
Yeah, a father's prayer to his son.
Very important, very necessary.
Very.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a second-year student of
Okay.
Infant Swim School.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah.
Kudos to him.
Yeah. Yes, the Peace Council is a very important group in the country, and they are very much concerned about the national cohesion and the peace of this country, and we cannot underestimate that. And so their voice is also very well recognized voice in the country. And so when they see some of these things and they don't comment, we know the political parties sometimes draw them in, that things are happening and they are not saying anything.
Yeah.
And so it's good to hear their voice. And I'm happy to hear them commenting on these pockets of violence that are going on. It's very important that we take it serious as political parties. We are the major stakeholders, and so we need to look at that and see how we can cooperate to ensure that these pockets of violence is nipped in the bud. However, our interest as political parties and major stakeholders in these elections is also compelling some of us to work in certain ways that does not help the whole process. For instance, if a political party is identified to be moving people from strongholds to orphan constituencies, that is definitely going to endanger mistrust. And if there's mistrust, there's going to be resistance. If there's resistance, you know the consequential effects of that. And so we need to look at that, all of us as a party. And so I'm very excited. I have always been for the use of the Ghana card as the sole identity document for registration for election purposes in this country. But with the members of parliament, both sides coming together to agree that at least let's waive it for this election. Going forward, we can look at that because there's a lot of people who are yet to get the Ghana card. Okay.
Yeah. So as much as I understand that a lot of people are yet to get the Ghana card, we've registered, I think, what, 15 million people?
Yes.
Thereabouts?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And our
voter... But some are below the 15 years.
And our voter population...
Below 18, yes.
And our voter population is about 17 million.
Yes.
Right, so we're close to it.
No, not exactly, because the Ghana card registers from 15 years
upwards.
And above.
Okay.
Yes.
Which
so there's a margin of 15
yet,
to 18, below 18.
Okay.
In that 15 million we are looking at. And so that's something that we need to look at. But I agree with you. We need to be pushing towards that. And one other thing, there should be the creation of a central database where when I go into that system, you know, I'll be able to know whether I'm in Bolgatanga or I'm in Asamankese or I'm in Kakumdo in Cape Coast. I'll be able to assess that, yes, George has registered. Because when I go to any registration agent and I mention my name, oh, come on, George, your name is already in the system. That centralized thing is very important to be able to check some of these going forward. So the Electoral Commission should collaborate with the national identification. You know, once upon a time we had this one says, I'm not working for this and all that, you know. So there should be that collaboration between them. And two, we should give the resources, the needed resources to NIA to be able to fully work, complete, you know. Fortunately, they are almost in every district in the country. And so let them continue to do the registration and let the people respond appropriately. I'm happy certain state institutions are insisting that you use the Ghana card to do certain transactions and co, the banks, telcos and co. And so that will compel a lot of people to get the national ID card. And then based on that, we can then begin to launch, to use it as, you know, a voter registration document. You know, so far we seem to be using it for our SNIT numbers, tax identification,
NHIS,
all those things. So we need to rope in to get this thing as well. So I've spoken about deliberate attempt at moving people from strongholds to orphan constituencies, so to boost up the numbers, and that is very unfortunate. And then,
but you know that thing. I mean, as a politician, I'm sure you understand why it is that anybody would want to do that. But I mean, for me, if the numbers, let's say you have numbers in Achimota and numbers in Kokomlemle, if you move the numbers from Kokomlemle, sorry, Achimota to Kokomlemle, Is it still not your same numbers? Are those not your numbers?
No,
It doesn't work like that.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
Okay,
like that.
explain how it
Because the
works.
parliamentary, your target is the parliament. As for presidential, we have only one constituency in Ghana.
Okay.
But parliamentary,
So
we
that's
have
what
two.
you're
That's
trying
the
to
objective.
impact.
That's the objective. And by doing so, you are invariably breaching the rules of engagement. The law says you should hail from the constituency or be ordinarily resident in the constituency.
Okay.
And so moving people from Achimota to Kokomlemle, you are not, those people are not ordinarily resident there. And so definitely you get resistance, from the opposing party that thinks you're trying to take advantage of that. And you were going to win Achimota anyway.
Yeah.
You get it? You were going to win Achimota. So by bringing those numbers and with parliamentary, with the first past the line, the post. That's all. You get it. Then you are in parliament. And so these are the reasoning for that. And another one, which is also very worrying, and cause then I'll wrap up, and then my brother comes in. The deliberate attempt at registering minors and foreigners. You get it. And that's also another matter. And you know, it's something that we need to look at. But
is there tacit proof of this, though?
Of course. We've sent videos, we've sent pictures and small little kids are sitting there. The electoral commissioner then, Afarijan, doctor, told us that he doesn't, and he's right. He cannot say, because you're looking tiny, you are not 18 years. He doesn't have that. So the law says, Georgia, he can challenge that person, and then we'll go to arbitration. And then I've been to such arbitrations representing my party before. You know, we won some, we lost some. You get it. And so you come there and prove that indeed you are 18. Prove that indeed you are Ghanaian. You know, those are some of the things. And the last one is the issue of these pockets of violence being a signal to us that 2024 election is going to be violent. It's a good caution, but I don't want to buy into that because the responsibilities on election day is enormous. And the pressure is, you know, decimated at that level. For instance, by-elections. The general secretary of the two major parties are in charge in the constituency. And when those people move, they move with serious security. You get it? But when the whole nation is voting, the general secretary is with those securities there. So the constituency secretaries and co do their work, and the tension is lower. You get it? And so when everybody is busy manning his electoral area and co, you wouldn't have the, you know, accept pockets of areas that we know are violent prone. You get it? So I will entreat there. Yes, the caution is good, but I don't think it's going to be extended into the main election.
Okay, that's an interesting point you make there. We have also joining us Julius Kwame Anthony, member of the NDC National Communications Team. Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
All right. So your thoughts on the limited registration process that has been ongoing and the Peace Council's call for, you know, caution in the sense that the violence that has been seen so far signals that it's a potential or something that can be repeated on December 7th.
First of all, I want to express the NDC's commitment to ensuring that elections are violence-free and that the rules and regulations that we have all agreed and set out for each other are complied with in all elections. And I want to also state categorically that having respect for those processes, the NDC and its supporters maintain every right in whatever capacity to resist efforts by other people to perpetrate violence or breach those rules, including the right of our members to defend themselves if violence is unleashed upon them. I want to, state those points first of all before we proceed. And I agree with my senior when he says that he does not believe that these things are necessarily signals going into the election.
The general election.
What we need is that the two political parties must make a commitment to ensuring that violence does not occur. However, we are going into an election 4 years after 2020. We were all witnesses to the circumstances that surrounded the 2020 election. As we speak today, 8 people were shot and killed in the 2020 election. up till now, there has been no account for why that happened, those who were responsible, and there has been no prosecution whatsoever of anybody for those people who shot the people in the 2020 election. Indeed, you would observe that there's a deafening silence by the President of the Republic on that incident. The President who failed to even make a single comment or say a word of consolation whatsoever to the families of those people was rather demanding congratulations from his contender. So if the two political parties, including the current President of the Republic, make a solemn commitment to ensuring that there is no violence in the election, there will be no violence. And we would not sit by. The circumstances that characterized 2020 would not be repeated under any circumstance. And indeed, the security forces owe a duty to the people of Ghana. We must all understand that the security forces of the Republic of Ghana are to protect citizens of the country, not to protect a regime. So the government of President Akufo-Addo is not the duty of the security forces to the extent that elections are concerned. They owe a duty to the generality of the public. As to whatever security arrangements are there for the president by virtue of his status as president, it's a different matter. But when it comes to election issues, the state apparatus owes a duty to all citizens. There must be no attempt whatsoever at safeguarding a particular regime or protecting a particular political interest. It is out of those things that we see a lot of violence occur. Indeed, the violence that occurred in 2020 is out of attempts by elements in the security forces to protect particular interests. So long as those things do not happen, I believe that the call for us to be cautious and the alarms that there will be chaos and all those things are a bit unfounded. So please, there must be commitment from both sides to ensure that these things don't happen. Then there are claims that one political party or the other is attempting to register minors and all these claims that have been going on. If I should ask on this panel that somebody should guess my age, you can't just look at my face and conclude and conclude what my age is. I doubt if I should put that question forward, my senior brother will be able to just guess my age. So I don't think that people can just go and look into people's faces and start saying that somebody is not 18. The Electoral Commission is on record to have apologized to people who have been malhandled by them under claims that they are not up to age 18. And so please, let's stop these things. And this whole characterization of certain people as non-Ghanaians and all these things, it's an issue that often arises. I mean, I have witnessed this situation firsthand. In Ketu South, for example, people are coming to register, then you see people saying that they are not Ghanaians. But if you study the demographics of these areas, these are people who are, have only been separated by colonialism. They have been one people for a very long time. Their families across. You have no telling whatsoever who is Ghanaian or who is not. But by reason of the fact that you look at some of them, you just look at them and conclude that this one is from Togo. But the people speak the same language. So you can't just see faces and start saying that people are not Ghanaians without any basis. I agree that as a republic, with time, we should transition to a point where there is one single database from which people can be identified. I agree with that. But one point must be made clear. The Ghana card registration and the distribution of the cards has not been necessarily equitable. There are still people in this country who do not have Ghana cards. Indeed, my senior brother admitted that the Ghana card distribution, as of yet, the claim by the NIA is that they have distributed about 17 million cards. And if they distributed 17 million cards, the minimum age is 15 years. And voters the minimum age for voters is 18. So even if we have a situation where there's 17 million Ghana card registrants, and then there's presumably 17 million voters per the 2020 record, the conclusion is right that there's a whooping 3 million lacking, because if you take out the people below the age of 50. So we can't rely on that. If we rely on that, it will be a deliberate effort to disenfranchise certain people. And I don't think that it is in the interest of any of the political parties if people are disenfranchised on basis of not having Ghana card. If the two political parties are certain about the message they have sold out there, and they are very clear in their minds that the generality of the people of Ghana are going to accept them going into the election, then there is no need for us to attempt to disenfranchise anybody. Indeed, if you look at the Ghana card registration process, we use guarantor systems for people. People guaranteed for people to register for the Ghana card. And so if people can guarantee for people to register for the Ghana card, what prevents people from guaranteeing for people to get a voter ID?
But if, as much as that's what we've done thus far, I think that really, as a state, we should be moving away from that.
I did not deny that. I did not deny that. What I need us to understand is that in all circumstances, it's a matter of balancing interest, balancing rights that people have in the state. I have a right to my franchise. I have a right to vote in the election. If by some reason NIA is unable to print Ghana card for me, that should not be a basis for which I should lose my right.
Fair enough.
And so if we have the situation as we have it today, that you have only 17 million people registered and holding the Ghana card, and from the 2020 data, we have 17 million voters. It is just, I mean, a given that that number would increase. So about 20 million or even more. And so you can't deny that number of people access to voting simply because they don't hold Ghana card. So nobody is resisting a gradual transition to a single source identification. The NDC does not reject that. But what the NDC is saying is that do not go under the guise of Ghana card and disenfranchise a lot of people. That will not be accepted. And that is what we have been saying. And nobody should be labeling the NDC, its elements, or, you know, assigns as the ones being responsible for registering minors and any of these things. There has been no proof whatsoever to lend any credence to those assertions. And so I do not think we should peddle them on this platform.
All right, fair enough. Now we're talking about the limited voter registration exercise. And my guest, Julius Kwame Anthony, made some comments, and I think George AC looks geared up to make some responses to those. Yes.
Kweku David.
Yes.
2020 elections and the violence and we all condemn it, the shooting and co. But let it be known to everybody that there are rules of engagement for elections, and there are lines that you don't cross. Okay, if you attempt snatching a ballot box, you want us to applaud you. Okay, and if there's a demarcation that don't go beyond, and you try to push yourself and co, it doesn't warrant shooting. But you see, you put yourself in harm's way if you engage in some of these things. I think the president has made comments about that these things are under investigations and co. And so we pray that the investigation will end, and you know, some are even being, some policemen are being prosecuted. I think the Dansuma area incident that that incident is being prosecuted, and so let's look at that and go on. So let's not attempt to be snatching ballot box and doing things untoward on election days. That is very important. I've had the privilege of being a polling agent. I've been a coalition center representative of my party and my candidate on different occasions. And so when they tell you don't go to these areas, they mean business. And so let's not do those things for our own destiny. The issue of non-Ghanaians, sometimes, you see, as he said, you don't ordinarily look into somebody's face and we get info. We get intels, okay? Well, when I'm an agent, I have people who live in the communities. Okay, so before, when the people are coming, they will come and tell you, these people are Togolese living here. They are refugees in the area. And I tell you, ask them one single Ghanaian language and they don't understand. They can speak.
Why? No, but wait, hold on a second. Why is it that this thing seems to always happen on that side of the border of our country and never on the northern border or the western border?
Well, that's a deliberate. We know a political party that consciously goes there to bring people in. Consciously. It's a deliberate party policy.
Are you sure?
My brother is here denying those things.
But up to now, you have been unable to
Don't worry. My mother is an hour from the voter region. Okay? I've stayed there. Pat, when you walk to about a mile from my village in Agotime, Abeginas, there's a town called Wodome. Half is Ghana, half is Togo. Okay, these things are, we are not just conjecturing things. Okay, and I'm telling you, deliberate policy of
heritage. Just a moment. On heritage.
I know
on
no
heritage
such thing.
caravan. On heritage caravan, I had the privilege of being on the caravan, and we stopped at Agotime Batume. And Batume is split exactly down the middle, but there's no marking.
Yeah, no marking.
It's
For
literally,
one moment you go to
it's literally
Batume
a
and
step.
then you move this way.
It's literally a step. So you can stand in one place and you take one step and you are in Togo. And a step there. So, but for me, I think that as a country,
And they all
we
had
need
national health insurance cards.
No, but you see that.
Given to them by candidates from our
No,
party.
wait, hold on.
Anthony
But-
knows. He's a lawyer.
No,
He knows
I
this
don't know that. I don't know
George,
that. You can't
but George.
impute knowledge to
No,
me.
but
You
George.
can't sit
No,
there
but George.
and impute knowledge
No,
to
but
me.
George,
You
we
can't-
have to be
Unless
fair.
we are
You
ready to
can't, no, you
pretend.
can't, you can't
George,
impute
George,
knowledge.
we have to be
You
fair.
can't do that. You can't impute knowledge.
Anthony, you have your
So
time.
if he keeps making
No,
references
you
to
get
me,
a
I
chance.
would have
No,
a-
you get a chance to do
No,
that. Yeah.
just notice,
So I'm
that's
just saying that. I'm just saying that we have to be fair to the issues, right?
Yeah.
Our borders are artificial.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We've come to accept them
Yeah.
as status quo.
Yeah.
But our borders are artificial.
Very,
right?
very.
And they don't lend truth to who we are as a people from our ancient past.
Yeah.
Do you get it?
Yeah.
So there's a way that nationally, as a state, we need to figure out a solution to this.
We ought to
Do you
be
understand?
patriotic.
Yeah,
We
so
ought
that
to
we
be
know
So
that
citizenship, consciousness, and awareness. That's the important
we are family members,
Yes.
but you are the family members from Togo.
Yes.
You are the family members from Ghana,
Ghana.
but we are family members,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And therefore,
living
if
life.
it comes to let's say a Ghana election, it's just the same way that I would find it reprehensible for Ghanaian family members to go and vote in a Togo election.
Yes,
I mean, for me, it's
yes,
reprehensible.
We gave
You can't do
evidence to that
you know.
effect when
Anyway,
Dr. Bawumia.
quick
No,
one.
let me round down.
you see-
Let me
no,
round
no,
down,
you-
please.
you-
Let me round two things.
it's
Yes,
an
two
hour.
things.
Are you sure you
The
give us
guarantor,
time?
the
I'll
guarantor
give you
system.
time.
The
Sure.
guarantor system. It's entirely different. The process of NIA guarantor system is completely different from the EC one. Do you know what?
I know,
When I was an agent,
No,
I
no.
tell you, just
Okay.
show.
Quickly.
As the agent there,
Yeah.
UCC TESCON, they are my beck and call. So they bring two reps who are going to guarantee for people. Okay? They do the guaranteeing on the say-so of George. So when the people come, they will look at me
Yeah.
and I say, go ahead.
Yeah.
You get it?
Yeah.
They don't know the people from Adam.
Yeah.
And yet they guarantee for them because George said, go ahead.
Very
you get
true.
it?
Yeah.
But the National Identification Authority, you get people, they take oath, okay? They are your relative, and then they are ready for any consequences. That is entirely different. So people are cautious when they are going to do that
For
there.
the NIA.
For the NIA. But for the EC, they don't care. Okay? The TESCON guy, George says go ahead and register. He doesn't know you.
Yeah.
And so if he challenges you and they go to the arbitration point, George will not be there. He is going to meet the person who challenged to argue. God knows he doesn't even know you, and yet he guaranteed for you.
fair enough.
Because somebody
Let's
said do so. And the last one, the NDC is not interested in the Ghana card. They had the opportunity after President Kufuor. They did virtualism.
You can't say that.
They are not interested.
There's
Free
many-
education,
there's-
national ID,
there's-
they don't like
There's
it.
many people.
It is an
There's a lot
anathema
of
to them.
evidence to
It
show
is an
that
anathema
they are
to them.
interested. George, I don't think I said that. Yes, please.
Kweku, let's get a bit serious about the issues. There was a claim that people were what do you call it, snatching ballot boxes, and that's why they were shot. Where from these preposterous suggestions? The names and ages of the people who were killed in election 2020. You have the likes of Zakaria Samira, 12 years old, Musa Husseini, 14 years old, Bochwe Taki, 16 years old, Abdallah Eric, 18 years old, and all these people who were killed in election 2020. Where is the evidence that they were snatching ballot boxes? Please, when you were speaking, I gave you your time to speak, so you respect my time and allow me to also speak. These people were killed.
Ignore him. Okay,
These
just
people
get
were
to
killed, but you weren't ignoring me
No,
when I was
ignore him,
interjecting,
please.
so you draw his attention to that. These people were shot and killed. On live, some were shot in front of cameras and killed. And up till now, nobody accounted for that. And you show no remorse whatsoever for these incidents which happened in Ghana. And you sit across here and tell those parents who may be watching you right now that their sons and their daughters were snatching ballot boxes, which you cannot substantiate. Where is the claim that they were snatching ballot boxes? Zakaria, 18 years old, where did she snatch the ballot box? Where did she snatch the ballot box? Zakaria snatched ballot box in Sefuyao. What are you telling me? You see
why
these
do you
things happen,
mention
and
somebody's
then you do
name
not,
and
you
actually
do not,
please,
you
please.
do not
Liars
substantiate
behave.
any of those
Come
things.
on.
And then you claim that they were snatching ballot boxes.
So-
Get serious with
where
something,
is it?
Joe.
Where is it that we were shown that they were
So
snatching ballot boxes?
is it not the
Many
electoral
kids.
commission who is to entirely responsible for the conduct of every election.
The Electoral Commission is not solely responsible for the conduct of election. The Electoral Commission works with other state institutions, including the security forces.
Yes, but
they
invite the security forces. So they are 100% responsible.
Of course, and the president is also responsible for the security forces. Did the president order them to shoot people?
No.
When you have military officers shooting people, the president is commander-in-chief. Did he order them to shoot the people?
I have a quote.
And so when you have these issues happening, and you sit here and you tell me that they were snatching ballot boxes, that's why they were shot. You can't just generalize like that.
I have a quote.
You must be compassionate and be respectful to the parents of these people who suffered those violence in the election. It's as simple as that. Be respectful to them. Don't just sit here and say that they were snatching ballot boxes. Did you see the 12-year-olds, the 14-year-olds, and the 16-year-olds snatching ballot boxes? Where's the evidence of that? Present that evidence to our audience over here. Present that evidence to our audience. So the point here is that when we have a situation where people can just be shot during elections because a certain candidate wants to be president, it is unfair to those families. And you don't sit on television without substantiating and claiming that they were snatching ballot boxes. Those 8 people, the media has reported it. Citi News has reported it. There is nowhere it was said that they were snatching ballots. So he should prove it to us. Put it to us. He should prove it to us that the 12-year-old, the 14-year-old, the 16-year-old were also snatching ballot boxes. The fact that you have a single incident of that nature does not mean that you can generalize. When I say that 8 people were shot, that they were snatching ballot boxes. Was that also snatching ballot boxes? So please, let's be respectful to the families of people. When you were speaking, I allowed you to make your point. You can't sit across the and decide to disrupt it when somebody is speaking. Allow me to make my point. It's as simple as that. You spoke for about 10 minutes. I watched you across it. Be respectful to the audience and do that. You are a teacher. You are a teacher. And you know how dialogue goes. Please, let's respect each other. It's as simple as that.
Respect yourself.
Let's respect each other. You are a teacher. And you know how dialogue goes. Let's respect ourselves.
Don't do that.
Please.
Let's respect ourselves.
If you try to,
you know how dialogue goes. Is that how you teach your students in the classroom? That they should have dialogue like that?
Listen.
Is that how you teach your students to debate in the classroom?
Julius.
Respect yourself and respect.
You have to respect yourself.
Yes.
If you are a young man, respect. Stop this.
And this is what we are supposed to learn from you as an elder. That you can't have simple dialogue.
Look at your conduct.
Look at your demeanor. This is what we are supposed to learn from you as an adult.
Please,
I will not learn this.
Let's move on.
It is not disrespect to put you to order. It is not disrespect.
All right. So
it is not disrespect to put you to order.
All right. So let's move on.
Your age will not be an excuse for you to interrupt
the
conversation.
conversation.
It's not going to happen.
Let's mute their mics, please. Let's mute their mics and move on.